Good morning. It's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I'm out for an earlier morning walk because I have a huge day ahead of me. And when I have a huge day ahead of me, I know that I need to get in a different mindset because my old patterns ultimately try to emerge when I have so much overwhelming things going on at once. And that's just literally from conditioning of 40 some years of living in this world, and it just rears its ugly head when things get nutty and things get crazy, and there's a lot of emotions and a lot of things that need to happen, a lot of moving pieces. When you have one of those days, a lot of times, and ultimately your patterns, your subconscious patterns take over and they embody you. And it's easy to get swept away by these old, controlling and perfectionistic and, victimhood and all these kinds of mentalities that you're used to. If you don't consciously stop, especially beforehand, if you know it's coming, sometimes you don't know it's coming, but if you know a day like this is coming, it's ultimately good to go into it with sort of a game plan, and not a game plan that you would normally create, like make my list. How can I do it better? How can I do it more perfect? How can I be on top of everything so nothing falls through the cracks? But more like a game plan beforehand to undo your lists, to not try to get everything perfect, to remind yourself it's okay and you don't have to get everything right and perfect and there's no set way. It's basically an undoing of all the things that you would normally do. So, sorry, this video is a little challenging because I have my dog with me today. And I normally switch hands because my hands get tired when I walk and hold out a video. But anyway, I'm just gonna have to stop, switch hands. Okay, let's carry on. So today, I have an overwhelming week, actually a couple of weeks ahead of me. Maybe more overwhelming than ever. And I'll just give you my personal story here. So today I'm moving again. So I've just gotten everything moved into my father's house, the house that we are actually going to be set to tear down in 2 weeks, do a complete demo on, and rebuild our home on this lot that I love so much, and I'm so excited. However, we just finished a huge move, and now we're right on the tails. We didn't have time really to prepare for this move. So I'm not ready at all. I'm just gonna bring things over in laundry baskets and buckets and just bring things over, loads and loads of my personal stuff, and just see how it goes and leave the furniture till the end. So we're gonna be moving over this weekend. And then we've got to deconstruct this whole house, take out cupboards, take out vanities, take out bathrooms, take out things that we want to save because they're in good condition. And then by July 1st, the house is going to be demoed. So we have a lot of things to take out, deconstruct. Okay, so my husband's working a full-time job from home, and he is at one of the most busiest times right now, and he has virtually no time to help. My dad just had major heart surgery. He had a triple bypass. He's been home for about a week. And within that week, he's needed full-time care, so I'm making all his meals, as well as my children's meals, walking with him, doing his exercises, helping him. And over the last 2 days, 2 nights ago, I had to call 911, the paramedics came, and yesterday morning, I had to take him up to emergency, and that took the whole day. So he's okay, but he has been experiencing a lot of dizziness, fatigue, and the first night he just completely lost consciousness and passed out at the dinner table, and I didn't know what it was, so I ended up calling 911. And again, he had almost like a seizure-like activity yesterday. So it's been overwhelming, to say the least, a lot of overwhelming feelings, especially with 2 kids home during COVID that I'm meant to be homeschooling, which I'm actually not even because I don't have time. Keeping busy, feeding, getting their snacks. I've got to do this packing. I've got to do the moving the house and the deconstruction because everyone's so busy, it's all falling on my shoulders. Today, my husband's brother and niece are coming up to help us move things with their pickup truck. This will be the first time we've seen anyone since COVID. So a little bit stressful there, especially since we're supposed to be keeping, our distance, especially for my dad. And let's be honest, myself, right? When you've been chronically ill for so long, you're immunocompromised, or at least you feel you are. So yeah, there's that. But we need the help. So there's really nothing I can do. But so you can see I have a busy day, and my normal MO would be to have everything prepared, to have a list, to have a checklist, to make sure everything gets done right, to have the house clean while doing this so that when my husband's brother comes, it looks good, to have everything ready for the lunches, to make a nice day for them that they can help us so that I'm feeding them good food, and to make a fun activity for the kids in there because my kids are finally going to see somebody, their cousin, so they're super excited, right? So normally I would try to do it all, superwoman. And so rather than just let my unconscious and my subconscious take over and start to do this mentally and control and make it perfect, and then no doubt get into an argument with my husband or get angry, building resentment because people aren't listening or they're not doing it the way I've planned it out, I really need to learn to let go. So especially if you know there's a big day coming like this. Oh, and my father, someone's got to watch him because of the things that have been going on. So someone's got to sit with him, or we've got to keep an eye on him. We also have to keep him out of the way of people who are coming to the house because of his circle and because of how compromised he is right now because of COVID. So it's all one big ball of emotions and stress and a lot to do. And I woke up this morning early and I can feel my body already surging in a way, right? The energy starting to pulse, like before a big race, like get ready, And that once I noticed that energy, I was like, oh no, my body's preparing, right? It's already going into fight or flight. It's already revving up. So I have to literally, consciously become a different person, choose a different mindset, say, okay, we aren't gonna do your old thing today. We're gonna be calm. We're gonna be easy breezy. Maybe I can adopt a mentality of a character from a movie or a book, or somebody who's like really funny or happy-go-lucky. Maybe somebody who I think is hilarious that maybe from a comedy, right? A comedy or a romantic comedy. Some old one of your favorites where the character's just kind of like that, gets into all the hijinks and they're just funny and it rolls off them, and the whole thing ends up being like humorous rather than stressful. So try to become somebody else, literally. Try to emanate a completely 180 different personality. And the only way that we can do this ultimately is if we become somebody different, put on a different outfit, put on a different cape, so to speak, and literally pick 2 or 3 people in your life that you could think, oh, who would it be funny to watch a movie or read a book about going through this today, and all the things that could happen and all the stress. Like, what would be the funny take on it? What character would just be hilarious in this role? Choose them. Or like, what person in real life do I know that can just like handle anything? And if this was them, they'd be like laughing or telling jokes, or nothing would bother them. Things could get worse and worse. It could rain, thunder, lightning, pour when you're trying to take over the stuff. Like, whatever happens, it just gets funnier and funnier, and it doesn't get stressful, right? So this is a conscious choice to try to be different, because under the surface there's all this bubbling. So it's almost like tricking the mind in a sense. And sometimes in extreme situations like this, you have to trick the mind and you have to just consciously choose different, because you don't have time to stop, process your feelings, feel them, journal about them, reflect on them, meditate on them, and do all that stuff in the moment because you know it's a high-speed day, right? You know you are literally going to be going full throttle. That's a fact. So if you can't take it off your plate, then you have to just change your mindset. So completely adopt a different character. Ask yourself who would be good in this role, and how could all the hijinks and crazy stuff happen, and the movie would just be amazing and funnier and easy, and like you would enjoy watching. So pick that role, pick that person, and just become it, because you don't have time for all the reflection. But if you do have time for reflection, and you do have time to process your feelings along the way, that's even better. So if something gets under your skin, if you start to feel angry or resentful or mad, or you find yourself at war with yourself, right? Two different beings fighting, you can, if you want to, stop and do fragmentation work right in the moment. You literally can just be yourself and try to call that aspect back, but it's often so challenging right in the midst of a super busy day when you have a lot going on. So you can try, but it's sometimes just too much like effort to add another thing like that to the list, because it can be time consuming and you can need space to do that, and time for reflection, and time to, you know, lock yourself in a bathroom or somewhere and process your feelings. But if you can do that, that's great. And if you can't, then literally choose to become somebody else. Go into the day knowing what your old patterns are, and knowing instead what you wish them to be. Easy, not controlling, not perfectionistic. But again, don't be mad at yourself if you are, because if you get mad at yourself for being that way, that's ultimately two parts of yourself at war. So just whatever happens, if you're controlling, then that's funny. That's the character. That's that character trait coming out again. And just allow it to be easy and breezy and not take on so much meaning. Okay, so allow yourself to become that character who's controlling, yet everything goes wrong. So you have a different perspective on it. It becomes funny rather than you're a victim. It becomes lighthearted rather than the end of the world. So again, I have a huge day coming up. Instead of bracing against what is coming or getting into full action superhero mode, I'm just going to change my perspective, realize that this is not going to go perfect, let myself off the hook, allow myself to be somebody different, somebody that I would rather be in this situation. And if I can, process my feelings along the way and stop being at war with my own self, stop being hard on myself, critical on myself, judgmental of myself, and meeting my needs, my own needs, as we go along the day. If I need a personal break or whatever it is that I tend to need, if I need to say something or whatever, then I'm going to honor that. So just honoring myself and not being judgmental or critical of myself. And that's something that you can try too if you're in the midst of something busy and hectic coming up where it's easy to fall back into those old patterns. So I hope this video has been helpful, and give it a try. I just want to pop back on here to say that I know people would think, well, then I'm not being myself. If I'm acting like somebody else, if I'm taking on the persona of a character, I'm not being authentic. I'm not being true to my own self and my own feelings and my own characteristics. So I'm just faking it, right? I'm not being authentic. I'm not being my true self. And that can't be healing, because the truth is what sets you free. But let me tell you, you are being your true self. Okay, if you resonate with this character, with these characteristics of another character that you might like to play, that's because somewhere inside you have those characteristics. You have humor. You have easygoing nature. You have happy-go-lucky. You have another side to you, and it's been repressed. It's been suppressed. You resonate with that kind of, you wish you could be that kind of a person. You admire qualities in another person because you actually have them, but you never let them come out because your dominant features take over. They take over every single time. And I'm asking you to act like a character, which is actually acting with a part of your characteristics, a part of yourself that is always denied and repressed. So try it on. Allow that funniness or that comedy or that easygoing or that different side to you that you admire in this character that you think would be amazing to play this role in a completely different way than you normally play it. And remind yourself that you're not really acting, although you're acting like another person, you're also allowing those qualities within yourself that have been repressed to come to the surface in a more natural way because you are following the lead of another character or another person that might use these qualities in their dominant everyday life. And so yes, you're role playing, and yes, it's not really being authentic and truthful, but in a way it's being totally authentic and truthful because you're allowing parts of yourself, parts of these natures that you never, ever allow to the surface, especially on days like this, especially on busy days, especially when you're overwhelmed. They get slammed right to the ground very first thing, right? And you're controlling and dominant and perfectionistic, and all these other traits take over, right? We're allowing this part of ourselves to come out today, to come out to play, to role play, to try it on, right? We're saying, okay, you get to be this person all day, and I'm not going to let those dominating natural traits that normally like to take over on you today. You can be this other character. You can play with it. You can have fun. You can see how it feels, right? And adjust it if it doesn't feel true to you. But allow that part of yourself, those characteristics, to come out and play on the days when they normally would be banished forever to the sidelines. Let them play and let that be okay, and let it feel kind of fun, and let it have a quality of a movie or a book to it, and just allow it to be unique and allow yourself to express in a different way. And that's okay. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.